hold on, John. John, don't do it in a minute because it may not be accurate. Kevin, just pull this close one that way a tiny touch. Good.
When I talk about the whole process, the whole journey of making the film, that of course means from the earliest notional conceptions through that long rehearsal process where we create the world of the characters, through the shoot, and of course into the post-production where you cut the film, edit the film, and then of course to the stage even where you finally the film is graded by our brilliant cinematographer Dick Pope, who has shot the most extraordinarily beautiful images.
We have a pretty unique working relationship, I would say, in a similar vein to that Roger Deakins has with the Coen brothers. And he's been working with them for a similar amount of time. To have a long-standing relationship with the director, get to know them, become a friend, climb inside their heads and their mind about what they're after, I hope we'll always work together.
When we were talking about the seasons originally, and we in fact had a new production designer on board this time, and I said to him, because we were talking about the budget, and I said, well, one thing that Mike never does is try to recreate. We'll be shooting now for now, so you don't have to worry about time passing and different seasons. And of course, as we started to get information from Mike, it became very clear that the seasons were going to play a big part in the film.
In terms of filming in 4 different seasons in the summer, we added snow and frost and rain and falling leaves and dug up gardens, which was a lot of stuff that Simon Beresford and the art department did.
We were really lucky with the weather. On the days we sort of wanted it to rain, it rained. With the days we wanted it to be bright sunshine, it was bright sunshine. It was fantastic, and also really helped by the few weeks before we started shooting. Did a test. We went to have a look, and he did this fabulous grading of each of the seasons, which helped hugely.
I used different film stocks for different seasons, different filters. I treated them differently in the camera. It was pretty straightforward, really, and just constantly watching the sun, hoping that we wouldn't have sun in the winter, and we were very lucky in that respect. And just trying to do it in the camera as purely as we could.
Working with Mike is fantastic. You never get it with anyone else that you work with, and also he's such a good director. And I need direction. It's like you need that security of that somebody knows. They can just go okay, bump, and they can tell you, even if it's only one thing, so that you get it on track.
You do work initially with Mike on a one-to-one basis for quite some time, and you're not just being told what to do or what to think or how to act or who to be. It's a two-way thing.
You have a blank sheet and you're working with Mike in collaboration with him in choosing and developing the character, but basically that's your task.
It does get harder not having a script ever, so all your lines are always in your head, or that is so difficult.
You really have to give yourself up to it as a process, not be frightened of going into it.
It's never too late, Mary.
Oh, no, I know it isn't, Joe. And you know me. I'm very much a glass half full kind of girl.
When I've not worked with him for a bit and I come and start working with him, it's like, right, okay, come on, let's get things fizzing, because it takes a while to get everything going and to remind yourself that, a lot is required of you.
People like Jim or Timothy Spall or Leslie, you know, who have done Mike's films on several occasions, kind of know what you want to hear, you know, and they tend to sort of feed you the information. Whereas if you've got an actor who hasn't done anything with Mike, you know, they'll usually be quite nervous at the start of the surgeries and they're not sure what they're meant to say.
Mum, Dad, this is Katie.
Hello.
This is Tom and Jerry.
Hello.
Tom and Jerry, that's brilliant.
Yeah, well, we've learned to live with it over the years.
For an actor, I think it's quite a tall order because you don't know what's coming and you don't know what's happening next, and that can be very unsettling, I think. So you have to put your absolute trust in Mike.
You don't know anything except what your character would know. So I and Katie didn't know anything about anything except what was going on with Joe.
Must be really boring looking after old people. No, I love it. You get to know them really well and, well, we're all going to be old one day, aren't we? Touch wood.
And I suppose that's what, having done the first one, I learnt that he absolutely makes it, you know, not easy for you, but he makes it an environment in which you can do that.
This scene in the bar between Jerry and Mary, I mean, it's an early scene that simply establishes the relationship, and particularly we really learn about, start to get the hang of Mary and what she's about. And of course she's very much saying, my life is fine, I don't have a problem, I'm really independent, I'm free, and all of that stuff. But before you leave the scene, you start to discover her need and her frailty with something that goes on in the actual bar, which of course we filmed right at the end of the shoot because we felt that we just needed to have the experience and the layers and the depths of that which went before to get it right, really.
But the thing is, when you're creating these characters, you don't think of the effect they're going to have. You know, you just create them. But it's true to say that, you know, she was many things. You know, she wanted to be young, she wanted to be sexy, she wanted to be wanted. We created her life. Hi, Jerry.
Hello, Mary.
Bloody hell.
Hi, Tom.
What are you doing here?
Well, I just thought
The way you work, it's never that Mike says, OK, right now, this is about you two. We never discuss our characters or anything with each other. Like Jim and I never discussed what he was doing or what he was thinking. And we only really discussed stuff that would be in the film, not personal stuff. You only said what she would say. You didn't explain why she was saying it.
The amount of work I did researching into geology, very little of it is actually used and displayed on the screen, but it's all that work is, you know, on some level built up and made the character, given the character hopefully a depth and interest.
What exactly do you do?
Oh, yes. Well, strictly speaking, I'm actually an engineering geologist, which means that I...
He digs holes.
I investigate...
You dig holes.
All right, I dig holes.
As Mike says, it's not vital that you remember all the details that you've gone through about Mike Ronnie's national service and where he was stationed and where he trained for it, and every job he's had and every girlfriend he had before Linda came along. And plus you go through all that. That's part of the process. But Mike says, like our memories in life, some of it just fades away, and some bits you remember, some bits you recall prompted by something or other. But it helps in the fact that it's all there, and it's this parallel life to your own that you've talked about, and it just gives you that grounding, that backup of a complete life, however much you remember or forget.
Well, you've been in the Greek islands, haven't you, Mary?
Yeah.
Which island was it?
Corfu.
Yeah.
What were you doing on Corfu?
Oh, I only ran a bar on the beach.
You're a cocktail waitress, were you?
Yeah. At the end of the film, when she talks about, just momentarily, about when she worked in Corfu, in a bar, running a bar on the beach, you know, that's a whole period of her life that I have in my head very clearly, as I do her whole life. You know, I'm very clear about all of it. You kind of think, well, why do you need to do it? Why do you need to work out where she went to school and what her home life was like and where she lost her virginity but it becomes the whole thing. It is a... And then you do all that work, you put in all that history, And then it pays off, because suddenly you've then got this grown-up woman who, in her own words, would say she had a failed love life, that she'd lost great loves, and that she was phenomenally lonely. But you can't just arrive at that, you know. It is the end product of all of that work.
I feel terrible.
This is my family, Mary. You've got to understand that.
I do.
Oh, come here.
So much time is spent on the research and building up the characters and doing all the preliminary processes that Mike works through, that when you finally see it on the screen, the dividend is there to be witnessed.
I couldn't make this film with any kinds of actors other than these sort of British character actors who really can work at this very serious level, can work as an ensemble, and also have this individual ability and strength of mind, and they are very special.
Actors want to work hard, they want to be pushed, stretched, and you know, we have a lot to give imaginatively and creatively, and Mike taps on all of that, so it brings out, if you're up for it, it brings out the best in you.